good day to everyone. This is Azeeza Jalaludeen. I'm the co-founder for Shine ADA. Shine stands for Self-Help International Network Enterprise. Yes. We are here on a weekly hangout on WoMen, and I'm a relationship mentor and an alignment coach. And together with me, I have my dearest sister who is always with me on a call with WoMen series, and that's Sister Alejendrah, founder of Core Humanity and an amazing teacher and a friend of mine. Hello, sister, from New Zealand right now.
Yes, hello, how are you? And how are you guys? Yes, my name is Alejendrah, and I am the founder of Core Humanity, and I'm an instructor for hypnosis and leadership and personal development instructor, and I'm really happy to be here with you. And today, gonna purpose. Yes, purpose. I'm excited. I love purpose. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, as we do a weekly session, it's been amazing. This is the part 15, and today's topic on purpose, finding your purpose, or we're going to go deeper into that as we swim into the ocean of purpose, right? So everybody, we have been living our life in terms of defining what is, everybody's talking about finding your meaning in life. What is it that means to be a human and all of that. So we're going to make it a little bit more practical in the sense of like what is happening to people around the world and what is purpose in the first place to begin with, right? And then we're going to touch on how both of us, Alejendrah and myself, have kind of been going around in this topic and the kind of people that we hang around with, and how it has kind of transformed and the way that we are living right now, We're going to share a lot about that. So to start with, sister, let's talk about purpose. What do you define purpose as?
Now, the thing is, that we think at times that we have a purpose and we think this is it, but then most of the time it's not it until we have gone through life and then we have, tested, and then we find out that actually this is not exactly what we want, and then we do something else, and then it's like, oh, this is not really what I want. Because, innately, that you have purpose. You know, your soul knows that you have come here to this planet for a very good reason. And what that purpose is, as Bucky says, it may remain obscure. Bucky as in Richard Buckminster Fuller. He's our mentor. We study Bucky, Azeeza, myself. And so he says that, maybe for the rest of your life, your purpose may remain obscure. But however, what it's important is actually that you keep in motion, because as you are keeping in motion, you are creating precessional effects. Okay, now, you may not be familiar with the word precession, but I want you to think about what the honeybee does. The honeybee goes to the flowers to collect what? Nectar, right? And the precessional effect of the bee going to the flower to collect the nectar is that the bee is pollinizing the flower. And because of that pollinization, then the flower will become a fruit, and then animals and humans will have food on the table and, feed themselves, right? So that's a precessional effect. So there is always a precessional effect happening with every action that you take. And I will even go to the extent to say that you are creating a precessional effect with every thought that you project, every thought that you generate, right? Because your thoughts create your reality, right? So having said that, you can really choose what kind of precessional effects you can have in your life based on what kind of thoughts you choose to have. Now, Azeeza and myself, we've been going on a journey through life, defining and refining our purpose. And that is actually what brings us together. And we collaborate, and we are working currently with an amazing group of people. And we're called Core Humanity. And we have come together because we share the same vision, the same passion, and we want to leave a legacy in our world. So the journey of finding that purpose, it has been a journey of a lifetime up until, now or recently, you know. But then, as I said before, you know, it's like the way that I got into that was I thought that it was, you know, it had to do with teaching, it had to do with giving transformational tools, and at times I didn't know exactly what it was until one day, after asking the question, and specifically asking the question to my inner self, to my soul, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And I had a conversation. I will go to the forest and I will just speak out loud and I say, you know, God in me, or soul, I want to know what my true purpose is. I want to know why I'm here. And I will just repeat the same question over and over for days and days and days and days and days. And it was after a couple of months that I started getting the answers to that question. For me, it didn't come right away. So what about you, Azeeza? How has it worked for you?
Wow, I think that is something that, you know, when you look at finding a true purpose, and, you know, thanks to the Accelerated Business School and the Money and You journey that we've been on, people come together for a reason, and I always talk about it. So when for me, it has been when I first met the teacher in Accelerated Business School, the Money and You program. I was in a Chinese program, right? So at that time, I thought it was about teaching people Chinese. The non-Chinese need to know Chinese. So let's go and teach them Chinese. So that was really the way that I was thinking. And I felt really inspired by it because I have benefited so much by the language and the cultural impact, and not to forget the kind of energy that Chinese business people bring to the world. I mean, they go anywhere and they can create new stuff and really profit and flourish from it. And we're talking about in Singapore, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, where especially in Malaysia and Indonesia, they are minorities, but they make it happen. So to me, Chinese culture and Chinese people, Chinese language is something that is so important to the world. And I stand by it. Can you feel my passion when I say that? It's like,
absolutely.
So I stood by, and I still stand by it. And I thought that's my purpose. So I'm out there doing a program and really making it profitable, created so much of fame. People still remember me as a Chinese teacher when I go into like Singapore, some of the networks. But the truth is, as I evolved and I kept on asking myself, and at some point in time, I got it that it's not about just the language, but what I stood for Indian community or Indian business community. So it's been evolving. And I can't at this moment pinpoint and say that, yeah, I am doing this and this is going to be my true purpose, because as I evolved, I got to recognize, and like what you said, sister, is that as we assume our true purpose, we get a lot of precautionary side effects. And then these side effects kind of draw us and we turn our direction. And sometimes it looks like to many people, and I'm sure many people will recognize this, that you seem to be doing different things and people will be like, hey, why are you doing so many things? You know, this is not connected at all. To other people, it may be something that you are doing too many things, too many stuff. But that is actually the journey that people take, especially when we evolve into so many stuff. We get to realize what is our full potential as a human being, be in career, in business, or as a lifestyle. So to me, as I evolved and the more I interacted, if I look back right now, my journey since I got in communication with, being brought up in a Chinese environment all my life, right? My primary school, my most important age, from 6 to 12, right? I was in a complete Chinese environment, being the only Indian girl, right? So you can imagine the impact that I has created right now, serving a community, a huge network in India. So it's like I'm holding the torch for the world's we're talking about the world's leading, longest running business education program. We are holding the torch. Shine is holding the torch for that. Can you imagine? Talk about true purpose. I don't have to say anything much because that's like so inspiring. So is my purpose about bringing money and you to India? Is that all? I don't think so. So as I assume that position, I also recognize that last weekend when we had a call with DT, we were talking about global peace through business, and I was so drawn to that clarity because we have in our Shine mission that it's universal love, peace, and prosperity through individual love, peace, and prosperity. And we believe that business people need to embrace this as our true beingness so that we can impact others and the world can get impacted through business. And so all of this put together in a nutshell, what I feel I am standing for right now is the upliftment of the Indian business community globally, coming together, contributing to Indian development as well as personal development. You know, it's such a precessionary effect of all.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is also, as I'm listening to you, Azeeza, and something I want to share with you guys is that purpose. You know, purpose, we define it as something that we are actually, we have been created to do in the world. And to me, also, what has become clear about purpose is actually the purpose comes from being. You know, it's your being. You know, first you have your being, then you can do things, then you can have things, right? So it's be, do, have. So, and I think that, I mean, it's my observation, you know, working with people and teaching, that a lot of people actually think, oh, I have to have my true purpose. I gotta be, you know, doing my true purpose, right? And then people start actually shifting more onto the doing, having. But then what a lot of times they do, and I used to do that. I mean, it takes one to know one, right? I was just focusing on the doing and the having, completely forgetting the beingness, right? And in my journey, I realized that the more I started actually tuning into my being, into who I really am, that purpose became more and more clear. And actually it became easier and easier and easier to put it into action. And it has to do with the kind of resonance that I started emanating, because in one of the earlier calls, I explained about how we human beings, we are antennas. You know, we are constantly sending out information at the same time we are receiving information, right? So when you start becoming more and more authentic, and this is why I'm so passionate about authenticity, and authenticity for me equals freedom, okay? So the more authentic you are, the more you know yourself, the easier it becomes for you to realize your purpose. It goes together, it goes hand in hand. So if you are one of those people who feel like you have some important purpose to fulfill in this world, and you do, you know, I will say, don't be so preoccupied with doing it, but rather focus on developing yourself, discovering yourself, you know, and I love to bring Vipassana as one of the practices. I just love it. It's such a wonderful tool to have. You know, you are remaining, you know, in your center. You are not objecting, you're not craving, you're just observing, you are just being. Another practice that I highly recommend to get into purpose is to practice self-hypnosis and to learn it from someone who is qualified to teach you well. Another practice is actually just to receive hypnotherapy sessions, and I highly recommend 5-Path. It spells 5, number 5, P-A-T-H, 5-Path hypnotherapy. It's, to my experience, is one of the most effective methods out there, and it's an award-winning system created by Calvin Banyan in California. And those things, then also, of course, the practice of forgiveness, like Ho'oponopono, because it's all about, you know, getting rid of the layers of who you're not. Because as long as you have all those layers of who you're not, you cannot be who you are. You know, it's just too much around you, you know. And also I see this actually a lot in people that they're very, very close to getting to the purpose. They're very, very, very close to getting it. But there's something inside of them, Like say, for example, in Money You, we have this, we call this the drama hook, right? And then just create drama and then just pull them back, you know, or even addictions, you know, if you still have some form of addiction, and remember, this is also something I mentioned before, an addiction doesn't need to be necessarily an addiction to a substance or anything, or something physical, okay, like food, drugs, alcohol, TV, porn, etc. Okay, it also could be an addiction to your own negative emotions, because when you are generating negative emotions, when you're in drama or when you're in chaos or in conflict, your brain is generating certain chemicals that get released into your bloodstream, and that creates certain kind of sensation that you get addicted to. So if you really are serious about fulfilling your purpose, you will be really serious about your personal spiritual development. It goes together. And also your development as a leader, because you have purpose, you got to lead, right? So that's what I will say about purpose, my dear friends.
Yes, yes. And you know, it's very interesting when you're talking about that. So as I evolved and talking about the India and everything, and here I have my dear husband who has created a movement called Collaborate World. So he's talking about the world coming together. So I have always got these conversations going. It's like, is it the world, or is it India, or is it, what is it? You know. So here I am busy with the Indian and dressed like this, talking about India. So I'm sure emotions come up for people. So me being that person that people want, like that face that has to bring up emotions in people, is something that I've kind of surrendered to. Is that I create environment that I'm working on myself with. I'm so conscious about that. So whatever that's coming up for people, I take it as a healing. And like what you said, I do so much of Ho'oponopono. Thanks to DC, I'm like completely with it. So to me, it's like what's showing up in my life is for me to clear data. And I've been clearing some massive data. And thanks to you, Lisa, for the hypnotherapy, techniques that you have been working with me. And personally, it's really supported me over the last couple of weeks, especially, that's been amazing. But over the last years, it's been a lot of breath works, a lot of emotional freedom techniques that, a lot of DIY tools that I have got equipped myself with, that's given me the strength to move. Sometimes when we show up and say, this is my true purpose, you have all the stuff knocking you down, saying that, are you sure about that? So now try this. Would you still say that's your true purpose if this happens to you, and if this happens to you, and if this happens to you? And normally it's contradicting ourselves with what we want to do. And while we talk about India, remember, I have got this strong pull towards Asians and in Malaysia. So we're talking about the majority of Malays. So Malay community, Malay Muslim community in Singapore and Malaysia are very close to my heart. And recently, I have, after attending the Landmark Forum, I've actually surrendered to that clarity that, okay, it's not just India. We have the Asia to be taken care of, like as a responsibility that I've taken on. And I've really opened my heart to be with Malay entrepreneurs and that group. So this weekend, I chanced upon this amazing, amazing entrepreneur in Malaysia who is so aligned to what we are doing and want to do in Malaysia with Malay entrepreneurs. So that's like, oh my God, that, it's also opening up. So it's us allowing us to happen. So it's as excited as I am for the India and the growth with the Indian entrepreneurs, I know that this is a calling because Malay entrepreneurs are Malay speaking. So it's a lot about the language. Now we have Indonesia connected with Malaysia and Brunei connected with Malaysia. All that things showing up. So, and I have been working with the Malay chambers for the last couple of months. I mean, this year was a lot about with the Malay chambers. So all this is showing up for me. So and when I went to US, that was a huge healing for Asians because DC put me on a stage in US. And she showed me and she said, look at her, the way she's there. So now the religious thing comes into play. And it's like me being there for healing. And as a woman standing there as a and dressed like this, It's like a healing for the whole of Asians in the business world. So I feel so empowered knowing that I'm in that journey. So if you ask me, what do I stand for? I'm still searching in that space. It's like, I know it's entrepreneurship. I know it's about Asians. It's a lot about upliftment. So what's more exciting, I find, is that when we find a true purpose, it's also about what you find is missing in the world. That's directly related to what Bucky says about the need to fill. And as a business, as a value add, we can give to the society and the community. The more need you can identify, as nobody's taking care of it and nobody's up to it, we kind of come in to fill it up. And I have noticed that happening for us in our environment. And as you say, sister, when we are in our true purpose, what we need is a community that supports it. To me, a mastermind group, a community is so important. And I can't say enough, because the kind of healing we did over the weekend with DC and with my teacher from India, the founder of Universal Peace Federation, Universal Peace Foundation, the Guru Mahan, who has got thousands of followers, and a lot of them, have not met DC, and DC have not met these people. When they connected, that was so much of healing happening for Indian entrepreneurs. Plus, when we had a reunion, we had an awesome alignment session with the Globe team, where we are all promoters of Money and You in Asia. So we had so much of work being done. So to me, it's like, hey, I don't care, at this moment about true purpose per se, but I'm so excited about the transformation work. And every time we come together as a team, and the importance for a mastermind group, like, you are in New Zealand and I'm here in Singapore, and we are, do you feel like we are apart?
Not at all. Not at all. And this is the thing, is that it doesn't matter where we are in the world, we are connected. And that's the thing, it brings us back to beingness. It's not about doing, it's not about having, it's about beingness. Because I say, for example, Azeeza and myself, we're great friends, we're soul sisters, we do business together, and we know each other very, very well. And the times that we get to see each other physically, the last time that we saw each other was probably a year ago.
I think more than that. Maybe more than
that, right? But anyway, it's been a while, but for us, time just doesn't pass by, it doesn't feel like we're not in the same place. And that's the thing, our purposes actually unite us. And that's the thing, find people who share your visions, find people that, they are keen to support you and you are keen to support them, create a mastermind alliance. Azeeza and myself, we're part of a wonderful mastermind alliance with wonderful people. And that's the important thing. You want to carry forward your purpose, you need the support of a community that not just believes in you, because believing it's one thing, but it's actually knowing that you can achieve it. And that's critical.
Yeah. Can I just add one more? Because okay, knowing is one, believing is one, and doing together is the excitement.
Yeah.
Because when we are together, when I say doing, it's like we really support each other to move forward.
Yeah.
It's not physically giving you the dollar, but really working towards the resources and all of that. Because recently I had a lot of people communities have shown up. Did you know that many communities have shown up? Many self-development program communities are formed. That's beautiful. They all stand for each other. At the end of the day, when we get into action, we're talking about action with the beingness, that spurs us forward. Like, the resource team we're talking about. So you can feel supported when we are here, and we feel your support when you are there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now, the other thing that I was going to say is actually about, Bucky talks about Richard Buckminster Fuller. He talks about, fulfilling your purpose, but at the same time, we humans, we have been designed to solve problems, to create solutions. So in you engaging in thinking and asking yourself, so what problem, what challenge in the world have I come to solve? That will lead you to your purpose. And on top of that, all the life experiences that you have had, that also will serve your purpose. I say, if you were to ask me, say 20 years ago, when I was still living in Japan, and before the earthquake, the big Hanshin earthquake in Japan, I was a workaholic. I was a totally unhappy person. My relationships were broken. I was just really, really, really miserable. That was up until beginning of 1995. So that earthquake came to shake my world literally inside out. And then that's what got me asking myself, what am I here for? Because I really got that, okay, I said to myself, okay, God, you have forgiven my life. You have forgiven the life of my family. There's got to be a reason for. And because I'm not dead, right? And then continue thinking that way, and then committing to becoming the best human being that I could ever be. That's actually what started pointing me in the direction of finding my purpose. It all begins with a decision. And we learned this from Anthony Robbins. It all takes a decision, right? I mean, and we learned this actually from NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And I learned this from my fantastic trainer, Barney Wee from Singapore. He's phenomenal, right? So it all takes a decision. You just got to make the decision to make a shift, right? And really commit to that and keep going. So I'm talking to you about 1995. That's what, 20 years? Yeah, it's a bit more than 20 years, right? So and I said it's a journey. So as long as you're thinking to yourself, okay, so what challenge have I come here to solve? I know now that I have come to solve the challenge of transformational education in a way that has not been done before, okay? And on top of that is actually to put together the life experiences that I had. For example, I was privileged. Now I really feel that and think that I was privileged to live in 2 ghettos and 1 slum in Peru, a long time ago. I know what poverty is firsthand. And also I know that so-called quote-unquote poor people, okay, are not poor because of just choice, but it also has to do because of the lack of resources, lack of support, lack of guidance. And there are so many brilliant people in those slums, in those ghettos. I know them. I live there and I have seen those people, right? And I'm one of them. I came out of a ghetto, 2 ghettos, okay? Very dangerous places and very poor. So I know myself that as long as I keep on putting in service to humanity the experiences that I have and I had, that I am serving my purpose. So actually with Core Humanity, what we are setting up is actually a structure to impact people in developing countries and bring the kind of education, the transformational education that they lack, so that we can actually start educating these people and giving them tools, equip them so they can move forward in their life and they can become self-sustainable before they step into prosperity, okay? Because it gets done on stages. And then at the same time, we'll have the same program running in developing countries, so then we can merge these 2 groups together, okay, becoming one. That's what Azeeza, myself, Ramesh, Ricardo, Pivy, Lucy, Atenas, Monica, Juan, we are up to. That's our big game, and we love it. We will not do any other thing. Because we have discovered that's what we came to do for. And the beautiful thing about this is that each of us, we have different capabilities, we have different skill sets, right? So we put all of that together, and we are joining, we're putting together that brilliance in order to create one common legacy. That's what brings us together. So as you start discovering your purpose, and as you start putting yourself into action, you will attract the people that will support that, and together you will create a very strong unit. And that is an aligned team. Our mentor, DC Cordova, she always talks about that. You will need not just a team, an aligned team. And I have another wonderful mentor, Blair Singer. He talks about championship team. you know, and I have the experience and the privilege to work with him as well. And yeah, a team could be a team, but when you get an aligned team made of champions, oh my God, there's nothing that can stop you. Nothing. You know? Yeah, you can achieve things, you know, and I'm so passionate about that because I'm living it, and now I know what it is, you know. So all those life experiences, you know, all the hurdles and all the, you know, the pain from the past, it has served its purpose. And yeah, I feel very, very blessed for those experiences. Otherwise, I will not be who I am, and I am in purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Actually, when you that is actually, we're kind of going to conclude the session. I mean, it's been about half an hour. We've been talking about purpose. So we are very clear that it's the beingness that will get us to understand our true purpose, and really about asking what is it. And don't think that it's about some kind of what do you call, some spiritual journey only kind of a work, because this is very much related and closely related to what you want to do in life as a career or as a business. So when we are looking at problems to solve and really connect with our beingness to identify problems to solve, that is where a lot of beautiful ideas and multi-billion-dollar ideas have showed up. So sometimes it leads us and guides us. Sometimes it's just like by chance people have come across it. Like it could be as simple as someone who's making cakes is really cake. That is just the doingness, like what Alejendrah was sharing. But it's like, what is your beingness when the cake is being done, and what goes into that? There's a whole consultation happens around it. So that's why we are so committed in Shine to have business people truly understand their beingness and what is the problem they are solving to create their multi-billion-dollar or whatever direction they're going to take in their life when it comes to making money, doing conscious business, socially responsible business. So that's something really that inspires us. And once you get your purpose and understand your beingness and be in the lifetime journey, we definitely need a community to work together, and a community that inspires you and stands for you and also gets into action with you. I think that is the missing link for most work that people do. So it's about getting into action, getting into referrals, and getting into the resource of getting things done. And you feel so supported when such people, you're surrounded by such people. They're not like just there saying, go baby, go baby, go. No, not that group. We have a lot of people nowadays saying, go, you go. It's like, okay, I go. You can resonate with that, right, sister? Sister, you have a lot of people say that, but who stands with you and say, let's go? And that's a championship.
Yeah.
It's like that's the one that really gets us into our mood and into our being. And so yeah, so anything else you want to add on? So I feel that beingness with continuous transformation, work on ourselves, plus a community that stands and goes with us, this too works a lot for us to walk the journey. Anything else you want to add on before we say bye to us?
I would say yes, definitely. It's courage.
Yes.
Courage, the willingness to go through it. Because when you decide to fulfill your purpose, there will be forces that will test your commitment and how serious you are really doing, fulfilling what you came to fulfill, and how committed are you to go all the way through. And you start growing and developing. You know, the resistance also could be as great, but when you are practicing moving through and just practicing being in your strength, that resistance cannot stay in your presence for too long. It just has to dissipate. It has to go. Because remember, highest energy wins. You know, whenever you are in a stronger state and someone wants to bring you down, they can't. Okay? It's your beingness, and it will go back to beingness. You just be who you are. Just be authentic. Be your true self. Purpose will be revealed to you as long as you are really honest with yourself in wanting to know it and committing to fulfill it. So you have everything, and you are everything that you can be and do and have, because the creator that created you is the same creator that created everything that there is in the universe, the trees, the stars, the planets, the cosmos. So everything is created with purpose, even your appendix. Okay, and if you have removed it, well, you still have your etherical appendix. But everything has a purpose. Everything. Okay, so you do to have a purpose. And I will leave you with this thought. And if you want to know more about it, just feel free to contact me, contact Azeeza, and we'll be happy to guide you through. Okay, so I'll say goodbye here. Thank you.
So that's the verdict. Know it and own it. Your true purpose is yours. Absolutely. So thank you so much once again for joining us this week on part 15. We'll catch up with you again next week. Lots of love, lots of kisses from Singapore and New Zealand.
See you. Bye-bye.